is agricultural mechanization. That is what is moving other nations toward. I wonder sometimes the reason as to why there is a need for members of parliament and ministers and other institutions to even travel. Because if we cannot transfer those technical know-how, if we cannot transfer their ideas to the country, then there is no need for us to travel to any part of the world. Honorable Speaker, because of limited time, agriculture should be the backbone of our nation. But as we speak, agriculture is not the backbone. In fact, we have no backbone. That is why it is hard. And some of the people are very allergic to the truth. You understand? So this is why we must depend on other people for grant and loan. And many a times I have been telling these people that loan and grant will never take us anywhere. And most of the time, people are saying electricity, electricity. And we also have seen the president under energy here. We have also seen the president moving, going to places from one place to another, saying that akata kurang wale mala. Kurang malo damma, kabo banjul kata fo base. That is sad. Just to go and on it. For people to celebrate. Honorable Speaker, that is unacceptable. How much millions are wasted in such an act? That is unacceptable and that should not be accepted as far as we are concerned as a nation. Moving forward, Honorable Speaker, looking at Gamtel, for instance, the cooperation or the agreement with Gamcel have sent about 600 workers of Gamtel home. And for the fact that they have gone home, we are talking about the president initially took the commitment of creating 150,000 jobs for the youth. Now instead, in Gamtel, youth are sent home to go and sit at home. Even said some of the people can argue that they are compensated. But that is not what we want as a nation. We want them to work for their nation. And that also connects to illegal migration. Because you are unable to create 150,000 jobs as promised. And even in the event that you are able to create that 150,000 jobs, how much are you paying them? How much are we paying them? We have seen teachers. We have seen police officers. We have seen security, the Gambia Armed Forces, some of them leaving this country on illegal migration. Why? Because their salary is less than $200 or sometimes even less than $300. The senior ones are even less than $300. Most of the people are paid within that duration, and some of them are paid only $100. Honorable Speaker, when we talk about the growth of GDP, we must be realistic. When the GDP grows, the minister could feel it, but the civil servants can't feel it. How comes? The poor farmers cannot feel it. Now, are we growing the GDP for ourselves or for members of parliament that will stand here and justify, or we are growing the GDP? You are looking at the growth of GDP in the interest of the poor people, in how it is affecting the life of the Gambian people. That is how we should look at things in the real manner. Honorable Speaker, going further, this president also thanked the diaspora for the remittances that they are bringing. And the members of NPP stood here and voted and said diaspora should not vote. Honorable Speaker, these are two contradicting things. You thank them, appreciate them for what they are doing, but you said you cannot partake in the debate or in electing the kind of leader that you want. Honorable Speaker, when you thank the people for the work that they are doing, you must definitely appreciate them and also give them what is necessary.
Can you? Yes. Can you stand up?
Order 29.5.
Pardon? Order?
29.5. No member shall put improper motives to any other members. The member is saying here NPP NAMS rejected to vote or to give chance for diaspora people to vote. That's not what we did. We did our job accordingly.
Honorable members, I'm trying to get clarity on what was said and what the implications are. Honorable Member for Fonyi Bintang, you are indicating that the NPP NAMS voted against the diaspora people voting. On the other hand, yet the president goes to thank the diasporans. I think that's what you stated. And then the honorable member is saying that NPP NAMS do not vote out the diaspora, do not vote against the diaspora voting. Yeah, I think that's what he said. That's what I'm saying. Pardon?
By saying it. That's what he's saying.
You not say that. If you are imputing motives, it means they did not say it. If they say if that is what they said, then you are not imputing any motive. So I think that's what you are saying. Am I right? Yes. And you are saying that NPP NAMS did not say it.
Good. What he said was that it was the NPP NAMS that stopped diaspora from voting. I said no to that. It's not just the NPP NAMS. This was the decision of the parliament. Thank you.
Speaker,
Sabak Sanjal.
yes, Honorable, and help the member for.
No, don't help him. Don't use my
Wait. No, the member is imputing. He's saying, yes, sir. No, he's saying that the parliament to make a collective decision. I'm saying the decision was not to reject diaspora from voting. We never in this floor of the chamber rejected diaspora from voting. That is what I want to be clear.
What you do?
What we did was there was registration of voters' cards, registration of people from diaspora, and we said it must be demarcated before registration can go ahead. But we never rejected. We never rejected them from voting.
Yeah, you know, if I want to recall my honorable members, you know, I don't know whether I remember very well. I think there was a time when the diaspora voting came in one of the bills, and looking at that bill, something was expunged, was removed. That's the diaspora voting, based on the fact that they could not vote without having a consequence as per the Constitution. Yes, that was tidying up the bill. That was not preventing them from voting, because the agreement then was before you can vote, before you can ask somebody to. Honorable member, can you continue, please?
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, as sensitive as the special committee that the parliament did set to investigate on the assets of the former president, and their investigation, as surprising as the investigation was, the president in fact came to the parliament and did not actually talk about it at all. And we expect him also to take the commitment that at the end of the day, we will come up with something, and whatever the parliament come up with, we will stand by it and we will enforce it to the last dot. That was our expectation from the president, and that the president should not be silenced over, and we are looking forward for the commitment that will come from various ministries and various government institutions for us to establish justice, because justice is necessary for the progress and the development of every nation. That is an important element of life.
Are you rising on a point of observation or in a point of order? Point of order. Okay, may I hear you? Yeah?
Order 29-1. Honorable Speaker, every member shall restrict his or her observation to the subject under discussion. Honorable Speaker, we are talking about the State of the Nation address. The report of the Select Committee is yet to reach the President for the President to come here and deliver on that report. The report is still within Parliament. Let the member read what he is doing.
Honorable members, the President's speech was very wide, all-encompassing. I think if I understood what the Honorable member is saying, that he wanted the President to comment on it. Now, what you are saying, what the Honorable member also is saying, is that he cannot comment because in your responses you can respond and say the President that and that and that, but he cannot do it because he has not received this thing yet. But it cannot be something that is out of order. Honorable member for Bintang.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for always ruling in my favor. Honorable Speaker, as we can see today, during Korite, phone, constant bombardment was coming, and the President also spoke about the security of this country and how secure the Gambia is. That Gambia is even ranked first and the most peaceful country. Yet, cells were landing in Foni during Korite. On that Friday, there was constant bombardment in Casamas between the MFDC rebels and those issues, because it's a concern to the people, and whatever is a concern to the people in the State of Nation address, the President should be able to talk about it, update the people, his stand, what is the next plan that he have for the ordinary people. Honorable Speaker, it will be of essence for the President to go back towards creating 150,000 jobs as was promised in one of the Sona address. That is, some of the Gambian college students that are just complaining are without employment. And Honorable Speaker, it will be hard for us to live in a country wherein there is no focus, wherein we can say we have no backbone. So it's a serious challenge. Honorable Speaker, on that note, I finally thank all of you, and I thank the members of Parliament as well.
Thank you, Honorable Member for Foni Bintang. And as you said, I'm always backing you, correct, if you are always right. So make sure that you are.
I'm just stepping in. Honorable Speaker, I thank you very much. Honorable Speaker, the State of Nation address is an address that is expected to be on the state of the nation. Somebody said, we have nothing to talk about the statement, as it appears that all is positive. Yes, we don't only look at, but this is what we expected. I don't think if anyone perceives it that way, that's out of order, Honorable Speaker. I think people have to understand that. I must commend the President after the address. He visited the minority office, and his very words are, yes, one day I will be called a former president. One day any of you will be called former National Assembly members. What will not be former? And the President also recognized the presence of the former Vice President, and who happened to be his political father. Somebody said this may not be, or is not going to be, his last State of Nation address. Somebody said it's going to be his last State of Nation address. I may wish to join to wish that this is going to be his last State of Nation address. But equally, in the same spirit, I will love to see that the manner in which he invited the former vice president, his political godfather, and he acknowledged and attended, so that 2027, his former vice president, the former vice president and political father can equally invite him as head of state and him as former president to grace the 2027 State of Nation address. That is my wish, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, let's talk about infrastructure, development projects. I look at the State of Nation address, paragraph 101. In December 2025, the National Assembly confirmed the commissioners of the Anti-Corruption Commission positioned the country to intensify the fight against corruption and promote ethical governance. Honorable Speaker, the act was passed in 2023 only for us to confirm the appointment in December 2025. Honorable Speaker, the law without implementation risks before becoming a symbol of intent rather than an instrument of change. There we have the act since 2023. We only have the commission members approved to be appointed in December. And Honorable Speaker, up to now, 3 months after the arrest not fully operational, who is questioning the commitment of the government in fighting against corruption? Honorable Speaker, at this juncture, I am making a clarion call, the full operationalization of the Anti-Corruption Commission. If the government wants to demonstrate the commitment to fighting corruption, I am making this clarion call for the commission to be fully operational. Honorable Speaker, the President made mention of 375 kilometer paved roads, overall network connection, 2026. I want the Vice President to inform us which roads are part of those 375 kilometers. And he went further to indicate that 700 kilometers of new roads. When I benefit, the Vice President benefits. Honorable Speaker, in the reviewing of the Local Government Act, the President made reference to. Honorable Speaker, I tend to doubt the commitment of the government in reviewing the Local Government Act. Since the of the Local Government Act, and we were told that it was in progress and very soon it will be laid before the cabinet. And up to now, that process is on. There cannot be any meaningful development or changes in the local government sector without reviewing the act. Honorable Speaker, this reminds me about an aspect in the act, the appointment of the paramount chief. I've raised that question over and over, and the minister agreed that the paramount chief is not appointed. The last paramount chief to be appointed was in the days of former President Yahya Jammeh. That was Chief Demba Sanyang. Since then, there is no paramount chief appointed. The last I raised the question, the minister informed us and promised that he is going to advise the president that it means the president is flouting our law. And as a parliamentarian, we cannot sit and watch and allow the president to flout our law. A paramount chief should be appointed, and when it's appointed, is going to serve for two years, and it's rotational. Our tradition should be respected. Let's respect our traditional authorities. This is the last time I'm talking about this. The next time I'll be coming When the paramount chief is not appointed, I will move a motion for a paramount chief to be appointed, and that will...
Honorable member for Bikama North and a minority leader. I now invite the honorable member for Kantora and majority leader. I now I never knew that I have a deputy speaker with me on the table. Honorable members, I now invite the honorable member for Janjambure.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. I want to seize this opportunity to thank the Vice President and Cabinet Ministers present here today. I equally want to join my colleagues to debate on the recent concluded Sona, and also to remind my colleagues that I'm not really here to project any perfection, but then looking at the content of the Sona, I want to believe that it affirms certain things. One is progress, and two is actually to renew hope among Gambians. The reason being is, some of my colleagues have said it, we just have to be sincere at some level. And this is not about politics. It is really important that we really measure. My Dabo Kunanga is looking at me.
All right, honorable, just give me a chance. Honorable members, especially those at the back there, please, if I see you talking, I will shout your name, and if you are not careful, if you want to talk, just step out. You don't disturb the whole assembly, and some of you had got your chance. Give others have their chance. Please.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for addressing that. Certainly, you shouldn't be surprised that. But again, it's about nation building, and we have to face the realities. Take your time. Honorable Speaker, as I said earlier, nation building is not only the duty of the government, it is a shared responsibility. And I want to believe that if all of us collectively should support the developments that are ongoing in this country, we should really reach where we're supposed to be. And this August Assembly have been a contributing factor to that. We approve budgets, we have oversight over the executive, so as such, we have a role to play. Honorable Speaker, I believe you will all agree with me that 20 or 15 years ago, we were not at this level. We were some steps backward. Like in my own region, I want to give you a scenario. During COVID-19, I was embarking on distributing food to less privileged communities, more especially those that then we thought were affected by COVID around the borderline. A community like Ranero that I visited, it was almost during the rainy season. It was really tough for me to reach in that community. And there was something that ñun fi pour ñu am dox lu ñoo naan sa problème la dafa fu mu jaar rek mu am koo xam ne dafa dugg si biir teen bi mu root ndesiti ndox pour suñ nag yi ak yeneen yi mun a naan. That very day we went on social media. I have some very close friends as a stakeholder, then I was a youth leader. within the local government, they were not really happy with the kind of advocacy we were doing online to ensure that the people of Raneru would have water at their disposal. Few weeks ago, when I visited that part of the country, sometime last month, I was definitely amazed. It will take some of these community members 2 days to reach at Janjambure. Now it takes them. I would want us to look at the content of the Sona report. And I would appreciate to start with tourism on clause 115. And it reads, in the same way, micro, small, and medium enterprise that has benefited from such supports. So all that I want to say is for the Ministry of Tourism to continue on that drive and continue to support the development of rural tourism and enhance and maximize benefits for those that are in the tourism sector. Also, he reported that on clause 117, relatedly, the Gambia has an UNESCO recognition in the historic community of Georgetown, which is Central River region. That is the very community I represent here. For us, what they are doing around the Janjambure Kankurang Festival as well. Honorable Speaker, I want us to look at youth and sports. It says youth, women, and social protections. I understand that there are numerous developments that have been elaborated by the President during the Sona. However, I still want to challenge the Ministry of Youth and Sports to work towards laying the Youth and Sport Bill before this very National Assembly. There is nothing much we can do for our young people if the regulations are not in place. And looking at the trend of migration, looking at the trend of unemployment, we can only combat it with the right documents and the right tools. So I want to encourage the government to really look into that. And also, if need be, to decentralize what we call the GSI initiative in the North Bank region. I think it is a model that convince every other Gambian youth that agriculture is something that our young people can be engaged in. So as such, let's extend it to other regions and also engage our young people, because the youth, if they are not engaged, then they will engage themselves. So for me, agro-entrepreneurial is very key. If really we want to feed the nation, we must ensure our young people would serve as driving factors towards this development. And having it decentralized would definitely address some of these things. We have seen the trend of migration in this country. I want to challenge the Ministry of Interior to also look into the immigration bill or the Immigration Act, either to have a review of it or to lay another bill before us in order to address migration in this country. Also, our prison offices. Sometimes it is very sad to realize that some of these officers would only earn $500 as a take home after they are caught from either loans and related matters, simply because the laws that are governing them they are as old as mankind. So there is a need for we to look into that equally with the police and, if need be, defense respectively. I think the defense bill is before us. But again, in order for we to achieve the required reforms, we must look into some of these existing laws, either to review them, amend them, or have bills to address some of these challenging issues. Finally, Honorable Speaker, the Sona report is not just a mere report. It is a reflection of a government that is working quietly, steadily, and deliberately to improve the lives of our people. And in the report, they have underscored the challenges they are facing. And I believe together with all of us, we should be able to address some of these challenges. With these few remarks, Honorable Speaker, I take my seat.
Honorable Speaker, Honorable Vice President,
cabinet ministers present, Assalamu alaikum to you all. Debating on the Sona that was held last Thursday here by His Excellency the President, Shadina ADAMA BARROW. Honorable Speaker, let me just join my colleagues to thank the President, Shadina ADAMA BARROW, for coming up with that beautiful Sona last Thursday. It was one of the, they are working hard to achieve their goal in the National Development Plan, which is the YIRWA. Honorable Speaker, going through his speech, looking at the National Development Plan, the government has achieved 90% of the National Development Plan. Honorable Speaker, to say so, let me name a few of achievements. Honorable Speaker, the rural electrification project. Right now, over 90% of Gambians are enjoying electricity in the rural area, thanks to the present government. Honorable Speaker, the number of roads constructed within the country is uncountable. As I am speaking now, there are some foundation stones are laid for feeder roads within the whole country, thanks to the present government. Honorable Speaker, lot of hospitals and health centers are built around the country. Lot of ambulances are distributed around the country, and many more ambulances are ordered by this present government to ensure that everybody, all the country, are supplied with ambulances, thanks to the present government. Honorable Speaker, classrooms and schools are built throughout the country. Honorable Speaker, the North Bank region have been suffering at the ferry crossing point from Banjul to Barra. Here we are today. Just last week, we've commissioned a brand new green ferry that is bought by the government for our North Bank region to ease transportation of goods and services in North Bank region, thanks to the present government. Honorable Speaker, the last Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen, Gambia is rated the number one in West Africa that gets the best peace and stability in the region, in West Africa. And the fourth one in the entire Africa, the fourth position in the entire Africa. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. May that continue. Honorable Speaker, let me again pray. May we all witness the 2027 Sona with His Excellency the President ADAMA BARROW will deliver to the Republic of the Gambia. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member for Lower Nyumi. I now invite the Honorable Member for Tumanna.
Honorable colleagues, to debate on the last Sona of His Excellency, the President of the Republic of the Gambia. For me, this is the best Sona since I know about Sona. Starting with thanking the President for his very elegant, for coming to Sona by fulfilling his constitutional mandate Section 77(1) of the Constitution of the Republic of the Gambia. We will thank him as a responsible head of state, heading a responsible government, answering as the Constitution alluded, that president need to sit in front of the Gambians through the parliament, to tell us the state of his government, to address us, give us the achievements, and also state some challenges and the way forward. And definitely speaking, if we are to speak between us and Allah, we will definitely know that His Excellency has done just that. Honorable Speaker, this is the final, the auspices by the distinguished leadership of His Excellency President ADAMA BARROW. Honorable Speaker, as stated by His Excellency himself, that his administration is not only to govern, but to renew our trust, build our resilience and lay foundation for future generations. National Assembly members, we have to be frank to ourselves. Definitely speaking, what we are experiencing today and what we have experienced for the past 9 years definitely is quite different. There are so many foundations, be it education, be it agriculture, be it security. Even security, people are complaining here about security. My friend, then the security and now is quite different. Definitely, even the public is well secured. The public is well secured. The state is secured. Everybody in the Gambia is secured. Everybody, you have your right. You have your freedom of expression. You can say whatever you, even 4 o'clock at night, you can be roaming in the street. Once you don't go out, if you involve yourself in trouble, of course, trouble will catch you. So therefore, definitely speaking, when Gambia is ranked the 4th in West Africa, and the 4th in West Africa, and 4th in Africa, definitely Gambia deserves this. Honorable Speaker, moving forward, I will thank the government with this what we call recovery-focused national development plan. I think this plan is a very important plan, and I think this plan is definitely guiding the government in the right track. All the time, you can see the government coming with very important programs, very important projects that will change our life. Project that will lay the foundation, project that will help us so that our lives are easy for us. Honorable Speaker, when I move down to, again, this as I stated earlier, this Sona is there to show us the major achievement which the president did, and also critical challenges. It has highlighted that also, and also way forward. We have seen the policies. We have seen some policies that are there which are meant to change our life, and we have seen some of the policies that are brought by some of the important projects. We've also seen them. Honorable Speaker, it's here, Mr. Speaker, in this volatile global environment marked by uncertainties, inflation, pressures, and geopolitical shocks. These are challenges, these are realities on the ground. But with all these problems, our economy is steadily progressing, Honorable Speaker. And this progress is depend on the construction. We all know the construction that are taking place. I'm not even talking about the side of the government. The people that have money and they are constructing. Then you cannot construct such a very big house here. If you want to do that, you are in trouble. But today, everybody, whatever money you have, you can pull to do whatever you want to do, and you are still safe. You can go to your house and sleep there. Your kids. Honorable Speaker, moving to good road network. we need to apply, we need to accept the fact. But you know what is happening? Because you feel this development should not be done by President Barrow. You wish that these developments are done by yourself, and you are not in the position. So please allow His Excellency to do his work. He is definitely developing us, and definitely we are progressing. Honorable Speaker. Yes, Honorable Speaker, the 300 and the 700 kilometers that President Barrow promised us, I also wish and pray my thinking yo kisi kisi kulukule sanunding, the road going to Dingiring, and also those places, I wish and pray that I am also part of it. Yes, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, agriculture. We all know, if you go to page 20, you will see there are wonderful things there, which are stated by His Excellency President Adam Barrow. President Barrow stated that to boost productivity and food security, the government continues to implement the National Seed Program. You understand? The 703 million have been allocated for seed and fertilizer subsidies. This is meant for Gambia. This is meant for Gambians, and this is meant to improve the life and livelihood of the Gambians. And if you come here today and stand and say that this government is not doing anything for the people of the Gambia, my friend, you are just talking. Honorable Speaker, land policy for the Ministry of Local Government, and I think this is also very important, and it has been highlighted by the Sona, and definitely it has just been launched. We will thank him. The communication and digital economy. Today, the world needs communication and digital economy to have sustainable development. And this government, we've all seen, since the inception of high education, research, and technology, you know, there are a lot of development, and they are tremendous, and they are meant to make sure the youth of the Gambia are well equipped so that they can also create jobs for themselves and for thousands of them. Honorable Speaker, I will do that. Honorable Speaker, human capital. I am very happy. I had a very prominent Gambian who says that human capital, His Excellency have talked about human capital, and he is very okay with it. And I'm also very thankful to that.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member for Tumanna. I now invite the Honorable Member for Basse.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, for giving me the floor. Honorable Speaker, I have to join my colleagues to thank the President, His Excellency, for fulfilling his constitutional mandate, Section 77, Sub 1, and also to thank the Vice President and the Cabinet Ministers who are here with us, member for Kiang West, whether we are in the Gambia or in Gambia. And that questions really is answered, right? He deserves as a Gambian for the president allowing him or making him to benefit the taxpayers' money and also any other fund being supported from outside to the Gambians by giving him a lot of development projects within his constituents. That is in projects like roads, hospital, the Gambia, not Gambia. So thank you. The other one goes to Same. Same said this August Assembly, the 5th legislature denied or throw out the draft constitution. And the same president deemed it very fitting and necessary and answer to the calls of the citizenry to bring back the draft to this August body. And a fraction of National Assembly members deliberately, without any iota of any order, throw it out. So for that being the case, I think the honorable member for Same should not say it's us who denied the diaspora for voting. So it is that fraction that denied them, but not us, because we were championing for the draft to be adopted. Thank you very much. Honorable Speaker, looking at the infrastructure, on roads, we all know how important roads are. and any other development, any other nation, a serious nation, the base of roads is a base or is the basis for any other development in any serious nation. And if you remember, or if you observe, even in our oral questions not been commended, it should have been loudly commended in this August Assembly. The road construction. So we looking at page 26, page 15, paragraph 26, 27, 28, 29, and 30. It touches all the development projects which the President have highlighted in the Sona address. Honorable Speaker, million in 2026 budgets to expand the electricity in the rural area. Honorable Speaker, I think on this paragraph, for me personally, I have to thank the President for this, and also thank the National Assembly members for creating that amount, 200,000, to allocate it to this electricity. It's only 10 that we are electrified. As I am speaking right now, 30 have been electrified, only 8 are not electrified. And for now, the feedback I'm getting that the survey is ongoing for the rest of the 8 communities. So really, this 397 million is really genuinely allocated to the right budget line. Honorable Speaker, paragraph 46. Paragraph 46.
Extension? Is it about extension? Yes, when he's ready.
Honorable Speaker, paragraph 46, where it says, I am proud to announce that as part of our drive to achieve universal access to electricity through the Sustainable Energy Services Company, SESCO, 11 hospitals, 81 clinics, 823 schools were solarized. Honorable Speaker, I think this operation room light will go off and they have to sit down and wait for light, or they need to call NAWEC to connect. A similar example also happened to my constituency in Basse. At times we face these challenges. But with this solarized to these hospitals, even schools, I think this is more than welcoming. And we thank the President and the Cabinet for having this foresight to consider the second option in order to at least to provide electricity. Honorable Speaker, on energy subsidy, I think this is here to benefit everyone, because even looking at the current projects which they have already done in rural electrification, because electricity bills are very high, they are expensive, but the government have taken it upon itself to make sure at least they make it available so that to subsidize 1 billion from 2025 and 2026. So this is also a laudable initiative from the government. On education, Honorable Speaker, for the government building schools and teachers' quarters, at times they go to certain communities. They find it very difficult to have shelter where they sleep in order to go to the schools. At times they live far to travel. They use bicycles or even trek to go to those rural communities to at least to teach. But nowadays, with this on health, paragraph 26. Okay, Honorable, for me to conclude, I really have to thank the government and the president for giving us this soon.
Honorable members, just what the minority leader raised his tag was, is going half past. I have 5:29 now about, so that we decide either to adjourn at 6 till tomorrow we complete, or we move a motion to continue to finish the debate. I have less than 10 people left. So I don't know what will be your choice to finish. Then I think you will then have to move the motion for us to sit beyond 6 o'clock. So yes, honorable minority.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Exactly, I move that we sit beyond 6 o'clock to continue with the business and finish.
Honorable members, Opanyomi.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. I also second the motion.
It has been moved and seconded that this assembly sits beyond 6 o'clock to complete today's order paper. Those in favor, please say aye. Those not in favor, please say no. The ayes have it. So we continue. Invite the honorable member for Fonyi Berefet. Pardon? I now invite the honorable member for Fonyi Kansala.
All right, thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I thank the President for fulfilling once again the mandate that is bestowed on him. Honorable Speaker, straight to tourism. Currently, I think yesterday we discussed in Council. I humbly thank the Tourism Minister for ably attending our festival, that is Futampa Festival. This is a ministry or a minister who had just took up the position not long ago, and they have went very far in making sure the intangible cultural heritage is in line for various Kayaga, Putusob, and Futampav. I think they are in an advanced stage to make sure it is incorporated on the UNESCO calendar. I sincerely thank the government and him for moving that far, and also participating fully, Honorable Minister. Yes, Honorable Speaker, going to defense. Honorable Speaker, going to defense. When you look at the key sector of defense as a whole, the President spoke and said, peace and stability remain a foundation upon the development.
Honorable, if we are quoting,
yes,
quote the paragraph.
Page 35, paragraph 108.
Just the paragraph.
Yeah, paragraph 108. It says, peace and stability remains the foundation upon which development depends. We have made a significant progress in security sector reform process, strengthening in fourth safest, rank safest country in West Africa and fourth in Africa, according to the Business Insight. I want to put this to the Vice President. This analysis, when was it, if you can tell us? I am putting to the Vice President, Honorable Speaker. Currently, in all this speech of the President about defense and security, we wouldn't had the internal displaced person in Fonyi. Eid al-Fitri, he made a lot of jambore statements, assuring Gambians and also cultural, whatever, imams and others. Nothing was said about Fonyi. When you have since Tobaski, or before Tobaski, schools are all closed. Schools are closed in Fonyi because of what cells that are landing in the Gambia. I do say this, the fight of customers and Senegalese and the MFDC is not a Gambian fight. But what we are worried is the government has not sent any single press release towards that effect. I haven't seen that. If I'm wrong, I want to be corrected. What I saw was the press release from the National Early Warning and Response Mechanism Coordination Center, NCCRM, to our sympathetic, an institution that we have approved here. We approve here. The institution that is a Gambian, as an agency, didn't even know villages in the Gambia. And they are now selling those villages in Casamas. So you see how unfortunate. So these are issues that I think the government should be very serious, because these are issues that shows the institutions themselves sat in their offices and drafted this without even going and knowing a territory. And this sort of sector, we told the NCCRM to apologize and send a fresh press release saying that they have erred. And we will continue to ask this. Honorable Speaker, in so doing, Gambia is peaceful. Fonyi is not peaceful. Internal displaced. Gambia is peaceful. Fonyi, no schools. School-going children, no schools in Fonyi. Gambia is peaceful. I am telling you, from Sibano, cells, bullets will land in corrugated iron seats of compounds. In Sibanor, last week, at their lower basic school, I'm informing you, the defense minister is here, they had to close the lower basic school because of bullets landing in Sibanor, all the way from Katama. Now, as a government, all those issues have never been sent a release or doing the needful or informing the populace that we are with you. Only to come in Sona and saying that we are ranked fourth, we are now first in Africa. So I think these are unacceptable. Honorable Speaker, the other thing also, in 108, it says about reforms. Yes, we agree with reforms. But what reforms do this government brought in terms of security? I can say only the National Security Council bill as a bill. It is only that bill, almost coming to 10 years, only that particular bill. We are asking, where is the GAFA bill? Nowhere. It is circumambulating from the Defense Ministry, Justice. It is not in Parliament. Drug law bill, it is circumambulating from the ministry down to the unit. It's not in Parliament. You talk of the prisons bill, the police bill, the immigration bill. All these bills are not. And I can vividly inform you, the Vice President, Honorable Speaker, the Vice President is here. When they come for budget bilateral, NIA is still mentioned as NIA. But in the press release and government whatever, they said SIS. And yet still, the bill is nowhere to be seen. So are we really serious in terms of security? When you talk about their enumeration, they will now say the laws must be effective in order for the enumeration to work. Here in this parliament, we approve $1 million plus for TACOS. But TACOS is dead. This past budget, it was not, because there is no commitment, no seriousness from the Ministry of Finance. They don't do the needful. So these are issues that I think if we want to work on a befitting security, all this must be seen. If you ask, last day I asked a parliamentary question here, Minister of Justice said this, heaven and earth. The Minister of Interior also said heaven and earth. We don't even know where these bills are. 6 institutions. It's only national security. And now, national security, when they have they needed an amendment, it came through what? Certificate of urgency. So meaning there are no urgencies for these security bills. Unless and until these bills are here, we will still continue to sing and drum about security without fulfilling the conditions of those. Honorable Speaker, moving to digital economy. We've said, because why? Gamtel was not paying the social security to, they are not paying their dues to social security. Therefore, when they went to social security, they said, your institution was not paying. Now, for example, somebody who had worked in Gamtel for almost 30 years, in the social plan, they are only paying them 17 years. Honorable Speaker, the Vice President is here. Who did that negotiate? Is it Cabinet? And all of us who had worked in government services, you work for 30 years, you are only paid for 17 years. Out of that 17 years, your loans, what you took, will all be removed. At the end of the day, they pay 17 years that they paid him, he only have 80,000. What can 80,000 do for him? And where would he work? So I think, Honorable Speaker, the Vice President is here. Think again on this social plan. And the other issue of it also, if you look at the digital economy, fiber is partially privatized. Gateway is liberalized. Fiber also is liberalized. One thing that we need to be very careful, institutions that are core in terms of security, we need to be very, very careful. Gamtel is gone, and it's gone for good. And now the idea of Gamtel is going to remain as boys and girls company. Why? Because young people, people who are into various departments are all gone. So I think these are issues that I think we need to note and take seriously. And the other thing also, finally, my time is going, Honorable Speaker, in higher education, we all know the importance of higher education. And this is the institution that is going fine. And I think the wave of the education, thanks to the minister on his foot, we are seeing it. And the other thing that I also want to advise government, university is the architect of Babili Mansa. Please, if you are doing inauguration, mention his name.
Sometimes I wonder whether the people knocking the table actually heard what was said. Because if I ask them to repeat what was said, for which they are now invite the honorable member for Central Body.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I would like to join my colleagues to thank the President for fulfilling his constitutional mandate by updating us on government's programs, policies, achievements, and future plans. Honorable Speaker, and I would also like to thank the Vice President, the ministers, and their technicians who are with us here today to listen to the debate. But as I always suggest and wish was for the President himself to be here to witness this debate, but never realized. Honorable Speaker, I want to acknowledge the infrastructural development taking place in the country, ranging from roads, school systems, solarization of the school sector, refurbishing some school classrooms, building quarters, roads and bridges, and the green ferry, which people of North Bank really appreciate. Honorable Speaker, with all these developments, infrastructure, and the area of agriculture, with the coming of the tractors, power tillers to the farmers, we still have a long way to go as a country. Honorable Speaker, in the report, in the President's speech, there is high indication that there is inflation in this country. There is serious inflation. We don't need to become economists to know whether there is inflation in this country or not, whether we need to be a student of Adam Smith or not. Honorable Speaker, the basic living condition of countrymen and women is unbearable. Skyrocketing prices, which doesn't commensurate with the earnings of the people. Honorable Speaker, youth unemployment is still remain an issue in this country. Promises were made, efforts were strike at ministries to ensure that youths are employed, but still we have more youths that are not employed in this country based on grants from the donors. Honorable Speaker, public expectation is very high as far as job creation is concerned. And Chinua Achebe once said, if an Agama lizard fall down from an Iroko tree, he said before people praise him, he will praise himself. Honorable Speaker, all the roads construction that they're talking about, Hakala, was not done in our absence. We supported it here in this house here by Lamin Job, the former minister, will bear us witness. Opposition MPs voted for a budget item, Hakalam, from our taxpayers' money. So we are part of the development. Nobody will build hospitals. You don't have medical doctors in those hospitals. And one of the characteristics or quality of a hospital is to have doctors, practicing doctors, not health workers who are not professional. I will thank them for the effort that they are doing because they are trying to make sure that they do a service that they are not trained for. Honorable Speaker, we must make sure that we have qualified doctors. I said it here in the argument debate, government must make sure, even if we are going to have a weekly traveling doctors to be going to those hospitals, to be seeing patients. You cannot call it a hospital when you don't have stringes and accountability. Accountability still remains a challenge in this country. And I thought the president's speech will highlight this, and he will strike out giant efforts made by his government to ensure that there is accountability. No, what is there is very skeletal. Majority leader, you can come later. You understand? But what I'm saying is, we don't see the action points. Honorable Speaker, anti-corruption. We have the commission, we have the bill, we have the laws in place. But implementation still remains a challenge in this country, Honorable Speaker. We have good laws, we have good proposals, we have good policies. Actions need to be taken. Honorable Speaker, I was saddened yesterday, or 2 days ago, when I was crossing this regime, when our able men and women were going to offices, but they are going for their sacred jobs, they were. So we need to ensure that when the president is making his speech, he talks about these issues. When we say reforms, we need to have institutions in terms of seizing project vehicles, and they are all going for the top. You are wasting taxpayers' money on the unnecessary noise there. You call it stone laying. Lay these stones, we will do the developments. We are coming. Honorable Speaker, agriculture. We expect us to have Badibu rice, Nyamina rice, or Nyomi rice. We've been to Malawi, we see. But here is made in where you are seeing, Pakistan, made in China. And they are bringing rice. Somebody said, the price of rice has been reduced. Even the animals in China are not eating that rice, or Pakistan. They are not. They are not eating it. It's a low quality compared to the. Do you understand? Honorable Speaker, we are constructing roads. Nobody will deny that road for their products. Is it linked? There must be a link. Do you understand? And you said you are constructing roads. Bani Salkenya roads still is disheartened. Call the president, he will tell you, its impact so negative. Honorable Speaker, the president's speech, we welcome it. And as I said, it's constitutional. And this country is a country that belongs to all of us. For me, nobody will silence me. I will continue to speak up my voice where it is necessary. I don't know whether it will be listened to or not listened to. And I believe this country, nobody loves Gambia more than me. And we are not here as enemies to President Barrow or to the government. If anybody wants to be a press singer, continue to be a press singer.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member for Central Badibu. I now invite the Honorable Member for Lower Salum.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, for giving the floor. Can I also join my colleagues to thank the Vice President and his cabinet ministers, more especially President ADAMA BARROW, who is the great leader in Africa, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, you see, you take me to Malawi for a benchmarking. And one of the key things that I get from Malawi, and I must thank you, Honorable Speaker, for that, that is the way opposition leaders behave in economic development, in the development of the country. You see, you cannot criticize a government. You've been opposition. They said whether the government is serious. I am looking at the opposition side, whether the opposition are serious in national development. Honorable Speaker, you see, if they are serious, whatever you might think or you criticize has to be based on facts. When we went to Malawi, that the opposition leader said, he don't criticize based on criticism. He criticizes based on facts and reality, whereby the government will adjust in that development area. But in this area in our country is different, Honorable Speaker. Oppositions are meant to build a country. What the four sides are not seeing, the opposition need to make sure the leadership to see that in that land. But in this time, it's a different case. Honorable Speaker, you see, this Sona. It's a policy guide. They cannot write everything in this document. There are most things that they leave behind, whereby you being the opposition, you can bring it forward. You understand, Honourable Speaker? Honourable Speaker, this country and this government, the president and his cabinet, we must thank them because they use their innovative mind and their technocrats to make this country forward. Honourable Speaker, this is a document that we have approved. This is the budget estimate in 2026. It's just a forecast. The amount of money that we expect from the local fund, from our budget, is $32 billion. In this $32 billion, how much is paid for recurrent? About $10 billion. Honourable Speaker. How much goes to goods and services is around $8 billion. How much are going to this international, contributions is about 7 million. How much left? Nothing absolute, about those 3 million, 2 billion, Honourable Speaker. Then with all this struggle, this country and this government is doing the best. Any member of this parliament, if you sit down, what do you have asked is road, electricity, water. And this government, Barrow administration, is going forward to that. And you, the same National Assembly member, stand here and say that road without no economic activities is useless. Who are you? Today, the people of Kia, if you tell them that roads are not meant for us, for our economic gain, they will insult you. Honourable Speaker. By then, before going to Kantura, you reach Kantura, it takes you time. But with this government, they have developed it. Electricity, the same thing, Honourable Speaker. But with our opposition, it's different working, Honourable Speaker. You see, this government, of course, they have talked about inflation. Yes, but you see, Honourable Speaker, with 2026 January, they have moderated their economic inflation from 6.3 to 6.4, based on the tourism, attraction, the tourism stabilization that bring forward about the inflation down. Because if a country is stabilized, tourists come in, then we have to say good to the Minister of Tourism, whereby they went out, you understand, and make sure that tourists comes in this country. We have to tap their backs, Honourable Speaker. Because of the reason why they have mentioned Gambia is the most peaceful country. This is what this year they have registered tremendous tourists in this country, Honourable Speaker. If there was no peace, they will not come. And this is why the economic has to boost in that area, Honourable Speaker. Honourable Speaker, you see, the good governance, even us, we know that everything will not be perfect. It's only God's creation that makes things perfect. We have to try our level best, whereby we can adjust. But in good governance, it's only this Barrow administration that makes everything free. Democratic freedom of speech, media openness, is this government that give us those things, Honourable Speaker. Honourable Speaker, you see, this government, they have done a great thing. If you go to infrastructure development, Honourable Speaker, this government have built roads from rural and urban drift that can connect people. They have built bridges that will connect the south and the north bank, whereby trade, freedom of movement of people and services can be easy for people. Whereby the economic activities will come in, Honourable Speaker. Honourable Speaker, you see, energy has expanded. Today, I have heard the member for Fonijaro saying that there are places that get electricity for 3 hours. It has never happened in this history. And there's no place whereby the member can substantiate whereby you have 3 hours electricity and lights goes off. The member can substantiate that. But for me, I can do that. In early days before 2017, You know, in Kaur, from 12 o'clock to 6 o'clock, you have electricity. By then, from 8 to 12, you have electricity. But in this generation where we are, everybody, this is why the rural urban migrations, the rural urban migration doesn't go down because of electricity. Because everybody are doing, you know, their work within their areas, Honorable Speaker. As a members of parliament, we have to be, you know, substantiate issues because people are listening to us, Honorable Speaker. If you go to water supply, it has improved drastically. Because today in KMC region, you know, there's a project on the water. They are expanding of pipes. You understand? They have, you go to my constituencies, water is not a problem. In the rural area, KMC, West Coast, this government is doing all these things, and the resources mobilization is not there. We have to tap their back that you are doing very well, Honorable Speaker. If you get to the health sector, Honorable Speaker, you see, this government also is constructing and upgrading hospitals. You understand? And in fact, they are also creating hospital equipments whereby they can able to, upgrade the system, the health system. That's true. In our border areas, people from Senegal or neighboring countries comes in and get drugs. They get service free. We have to. The Honorable Vice President, I think this should be a cabinet paper from the National Assembly, that health should not be free. You cannot go anywhere in this country whereby the government will subsidize the health facility. It has no. Health is expensive. It should not be free like that. Wherever you go in Europe, you have to pay money to get that services. But in this country, you must get free. This free of charge, make us to suffer. If you go to education system, yes, the education system, these borough administrators are also expanding and building new schools. They are giving scholarship and training teachers. We have to tap their backs, Honorable Speaker. In agriculture, the same thing. The only problem is, Honorable Speaker, the problem in this world is the oppositions. But this government are doing very well. And Honorable Speaker, with this late coalition government, inshallah, comes 2026, we're going to get 68% of our voters because people trust us, you and I, and the cabinet, to come back to 2027, for this Sona in this chamber. Inshallah. Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, for giving me the floor.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member for Lower Salum. I now invite the Honorable Member for Fonyi Bondali.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for allowing me to also take part in this very important debate. Honorable Speaker, I would like to thank the Vice President and other minister and other member of the Cabinet here present. Honorable Speaker, let me go straight to agriculture. If you allow me to read this. Honorable Speaker, to boost productivity.
Honorable, make sure you quote the paragraph.
Oh, sorry, 20, page 20.
Yeah, just the paragraph.
59. 59, sorry, 60. 60, okay. To boost productivity and food security, the government continues to implement the National Seed Program. Through its over 703 million have been allocated for seed and fertilizer subsidies. Honorable Speaker, we all can bear with me that we're living in a crazy world today. Having to depend on importing or buying seeds from outside the Gambia can be very big risky. Honorable Speaker, we have our indigenous crops that are absolutely fading away. Today, if you go to Fonyi and you ask our Pio Buserengap or Kus, you hardly see it now. We are depending on seeds that, every year we buy the seeds, and then not like before, whereby farmers will take their the following season, they will take the seeds from their present harvest for the following season. And these seeds are absolutely dying, our indigenous seeds. We cannot depend on importing seeds all the time. If things like what is happening today in Iran and Iraq, US and Israel and Iraq war, that might affect us at some point. So we have nari and seed that can improve our own local or indigenous seeds for us to use them instead of depending on importing the seeds from outside. Honorable Speaker, if you go further, 64 in the same area, agriculture. Honorable Speaker, the President made mention of bringing 189 tractors. But the way it is distributed is not detailed here. Honorable Speaker, in my area, Fonyi Bondali, that's where the agricultural camp is. We have only one tractor, which is operating from Kansala, Bondali, and Jarol. Having heard that the 100 tractors are available, and I'm not seeing any tractor added to that one, I would like to know, I would like to know how does that happen. Honorable Speaker, Fonyi Bondali, one tractor cannot even serve the whole Fonyi Bondali, talk less of the other talk less of other two districts, that Jaron and Kansala. So I hope we got one from these 189 tractors. Honorable Speaker, I don't know whether I'll be the only one who come up with this. Maybe if you like, say that a wild idea or whatsoever. Honorable Speaker, we have been talking of agriculture for ages. That agriculture is our backbone. Agriculture is whatsoever we call it. Honorable Speaker, I think we should also now shift from agriculture and then check on other sectors like youth and sport and tourism. Honorable Speaker, if we can develop our sports, especially our sporting infrastructure, like for instance, in every region, you provide infrastructure for the young people whereby they can train these young people at a very young stage to where they will reach at the time where we will all say that, wow, yeah, this is what we want. I think can also give benefit to the nation, unlike agriculture that have been here for ages and then we hardly see the impact, I can say, because as we are dependent on agriculture, that doesn't prevent us from buying rice every month. So we sift and then see how best those sectors also how can those sectors also do to our economy. Honorable Speaker, going to page infrastructure, page 36. Honorable Speaker, we have to thank the government for coming up with roads that connect the communities, especially the new roads. But we should also not forget to maintain our old roads that we had, especially our Transgambia. Honorable Speaker, I know majority of the NAMs or even the cabinet ministers who ply this road, especially at night, find it very difficult because of the worn out lanes. you find it very difficult to drive at night. Honorable Speaker, so I guess Minister of Work, especially the NRA, to check on the road maintenance. Honorable Speaker, in trade, where we have irregular migration that continues to rob our nation, its youth. Irregular migration continues to rob our nation of its youth. Honorable Speaker, if I say that the government also is contributing to migration or irregular migration, maybe people might disagree with me, but they are. Honorable Speaker, they are contributing because they are giving the grants to the wrong people who might not have the idea, who might not have the passion to do what they were even asking to do. Honorable Speaker, there are many youth components in many other sector or departments in the country. They claim to support the youth, which is a very fine initiative, but it always falls in the wrong hands. Honorable Speaker, this can be done through collaboration with the Minister of Youth and Sport, who are working mainly with youths. You can take sample from the GSI in the North Bank, chairman. We have many trainees there from that place. I have 2 in my area who are doing very well, but gets little support. And if these people are supported, they will at least employ many youths around that end. But these people, they don't often have this opportunity to pursue their dreams. But rather, it falls on the wrong hands. If you give me something that I have no idea with, as time goes on, maybe I might even sell that particular thing and then embark on the irregular migration. And most of the time, this is what happens. Honorable Speaker, rising to tourism, and culture. Honorable Speaker, I was also a very big believer that our Tampa was was a waste. But looking at it, and then the way and the Ministry of the Ministry of Tourism and Culture are coming up supporting this festival, I realized that culture is never expensive, because this is what makes us to know who we are. So I would like to thank the ministry for the role they are playing in maintaining our culture. Honorable Speaker, I can see that my time is finished, but I would like to thank the members and the members of the cabinet here present. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member for Fonyi Bondali. I now invite the Honorable Member for Kantora and Majority Leader. Honorable Member for Woolley, that is not your job, Honorable. No, you cannot do that, please. No, you cannot observe him without him giving you. Please, Honorable, don't do that, please. No, you should not even talk to him directly. Whether you use mic or you don't use mic, you should not talk to him. He is taking the floor, please.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, for giving me the floor. Honorable Speaker, let me join the entire National Assembly to welcome His Excellency the Vice President and the entire cabinet ministers here present. I can see Minister of Higher Education, Minister of Defense, Minister of Tourism, etc., of course, with their technical experts, to come and listen to a well-delivered address Yes, it's true, I seconded the motion the day the president laid the Sona address. Probably that is still fresh in your mind, thinking that I have seconded this motion. Honorable Speaker, it's very, very important as members of parliament, when speaking in these hollow chambers, you speak with facts. It's very important if you are in this sacred chamber, you make sure that what you are giving out to the public is accurate and true, nothing but the truth. But it's rather misleading and disturbing. Members of parliament taking the floor of this chamber, trying to play with the gallery. It's really unfortunate. When the president, in his remark that the Gambia has been ranked the first in West Africa and the fourth in Africa in terms of safetiness, people are here attributing that or comparing that with the recent development in Casamas. Is a misrepresentation of the facts. You cannot attribute what is going on in the Casamas when the rebels are fighting government. You want to attribute that, how can government claim a secure nation? You're not being honest to yourself. But you can't fool everybody. We have minds, we have ears, we listen. What is going on in the border village of Fonyi does not have anything therein to say that Gambia is not safe for people. What you are doing here, probably you don't know the magnanimity or the magnitude in what you are causing to your own country. You are speaking these hollow chambers. The entire world is watching. You are telling people that my country is not safe. Are you a good citizen in the first place? So that's why if you are speaking this sacred chamber, it's a rare privilege to represent your nation. And when it's given to you, do not abuse it because of politics. When I listen to a member of Fonyi Councillor saying that the bullets are flying in Fonyi, therefore we're not safe anymore. Are you a good ambassador to your country? Are you a good ambassador to your community you come from? People should desist from that. Honorable Speaker, I've listened carefully. When members of parliament stand here, that road construction electricity is not all. Has they transformed their lives and livelihood? I'm disappointed. Somebody that hail from here. If you are really representing people of Kian West in this chamber, you are telling me that the road construction does not transform the lives and livelihood of the people? It's two things. Either you don't go there to see those impacts, those poor women, those poor men plying on the road, doing businesses, transporting their goods from one end to the other. You stand here, you are telling us that the road construction and electricity did not impact the lives and livelihood of people. This not translate. Do you even understand the terrain you are saying? Do you even know what is human development in terms of the GDP? It's one thing to go to school, but it's one thing also to understand the subject matter you are talking about. It's really unfortunate for one to stand here in this shallow chamber saying that the road construction, the electricity that his constituency has lacked, not even independent, since God created Gambia. There has never been electricity in that constituency. There has never been a tower in that country, thanks to this government. Regardless of political affiliation, the government said my development is for everybody. And you are here trying to caricature that. You are here misrepresenting the fact. When I listen to him that the government is so committed in terms of fighting corruption, that's misleading. If government is not committed in fighting corruption, how will the same government table a comprehensive bill in this hollow chamber? This same government, after we passed it, the government went back again to ascend that law and brought in a commission. You are still trying to play politics to put blames that the government is not committed. It's not unfortunate. And when I say some people only attacking on the Alcalo, paramount chiefs, and Safeforce appointment, you haven't said anything good in this book. Rather than talking about drifting the minds of people, you don't have anything to say in this book.
but calling issues that the paramount chief has to be appointed. You haven't seen the economic advancement that you are enjoying today as member of parliament. We came here in 2017. They can bear me witness how much you are paid. The man is saying that that economic advancement that did not affect him today. Let him come and gauge himself. Let him come and compare himself. Who is the member of Kian West 5 years down the line and today? It's quite different. So basically, both the minority leader, the claim or attribution he is trying to emphasize on the issue of paramount chief, I'm so disappointed. It should not be, thing that he should really lament on. Rather, let's look at the advancement. Let's look at the progress. This current government, under the leadership of President BARROW, he is a master in rapid development. He has transformed this country. We used to have, in 2016, 2017, less than 1 month import cover. Today, we are boasting of 4 to 5 month import cover. These are not just dropped from the skies or from the blues. It's called for due diligence. It called for hard working. It called for transparency. It called for accountability to make sure that resources of this country are utilized. If this country is going astray, no development partner will pump in their money. We have seen it all right now. The president is actually linking farmlands to the main highway. These are just words. When you harvest, you can transport your goods from the farmland to the market. And that is why the World Bank says to the president, the way and manner you are governing this country, you are governing well. And we are going to put our resources to support that election. You cannot take heavy equipment, power tillers and tractors to farmland when there is no good road. And that is why, in terms of complementarity, the government and World Bank are putting effort together to make sure that they complement effort. But His Excellency believe one thing. If you want to, he believed that if you want to leave everything to the donors without looking inward, a rigorous resource mobilization, you believe in yourself and drive your own agenda. In fact, your issue of development, road construction, hospital, electricity. If you want to wait for donors, let's look at last year. Budget support came at 26 December 2025. I stand to be corrected. But this government never fell short in implementing the approved budget, in implementing the approved development of this country, in implementing the projects and program of government. So if we are not here to appreciate that effort, this is not about praising the president. This is about appreciating what we have as a nation. Being an opposition is not to be an adversary to God. You should be a watchdog to God to make sure that you can critique, but critique with constructivism. You must be constructive in your criticism and proffer solution and recommendations. But you can just come here, putting blame game. That will not take this country anywhere. I will recommend more constructive opposition debate, whereby you can proffer recommendation solutions to government. We understand, of course, governments, all political parties are government in waiting. But billahi, this government continuity is in your best interest as opposition.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member for Kantora and Majority Leader. Honorable members, we have finally come to the end.
Honorable, I have raised my tax since in the morning. I keep on raising my tax. I don't know why I'm not.
You never raise your tax.
You have to be fair.
Honorable members, let me, we have given floor to people who came late, who came late. And therefore, he was here since morning. And I was told that probably it's an omission, but he raised his tag. And therefore, I think it's good that we give him the floor. Wole East.
Yes, thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, for giving me the floor. And I also thank the ministers who have been here since in the morning, and also thank the President for coming up with the State of the Nation in the first quarter. We demand that he comes in the first quarter. I would have preferred the last quarter because it would have impacted on the budget, incoming budget. But all the same, we can always make use of the State of the Nation. Honorable Speaker, just to clarify certain things that are being misused by others, I have not heard anybody in this House today who said road building is not good. Road building is not beneficial. I've not heard anybody say that. I don't know where that information comes. I think people are coming up with arguments, and then they make statement of their own, and then they argue against the statement and ascribe it to somebody else. So that is a very dishonest way of debate. We should run away from that. Honorable Speaker, the Sona is meant to review achievements, outline policy agenda of government, as well as address the economic and social issues. Economic and social issues that are confronting us today. One good thing I would have reminded the President and the government is that there is a war raging in the Middle East. And that war will impact, whether we like it or not, on everything that we do. I will not be able to say everything, but it will impact on the cost of prices. It will impact on fuel. Once it impacts on fuel, it will impact on everything else. So we need to, that's a crisis of its own. And I believe the government should put that in mind and make contingency measures from now so that we'll be able to address the issue before it actually impacts. When the COVID came, it caught us by surprise. But the crisis in the Middle East, in terms of fuel crisis, the crisis in the Ukraine, if they combine, is going to be a bigger crisis. And let us just pray that the war in the Middle East does not go on and on. Honorable Speaker, let me continue. If you look at the situation very well, you'll see that the remittances are bringing $34 million. $34 million more than the national budget that the remittances are bringing. We'll thank our brothers and sisters in the diaspora who are sending us all those remittances. But Honorable Speaker, we need to be able to inject these remittances in a more proactive way, in a more financial way, so that the government will benefit, and those who are bringing the remittances also will benefit. There are many ways of making the remittances beneficial to both the people in the diaspora as well as to the government. Remittances had helped a great deal in many other countries. Even if you go to Senegal, you'll see that they are using remittances to even construct roads. So it is a very useful thing. Honorable Speaker, when it comes to the GDP, is saying GDP is 5 point something, that's going to come, appreciating 5 point something. But if you look at it, you will see that the increase in GDP is mainly due to the remittances. And so therefore, we should not joke with the remittances. The other way, the non-tax also, Honorable Speaker, is compounded by the fact that we have gone into an Africa 50 agreement. And that is the reason why it is the income from Africa 50 that we are using to build roads here and there. And then we know that we have mortgaged this more or less to an Africa 50 to manage this thing on our behalf for 25 years. So for 25 years, we'll be missing, yes, we'll be missing some income from that area. And therefore, we should know how to use that money to be able to invest so that the returns will help us before the end of the 25 years. Honorable Speaker, I want to also say that when inflation comes, when something happens, a crisis happens in the Gambia, you have inflation. Inflation goes up, prices go up. But even if that crisis is done, the price continue to go on, it will not come down. And that's what happened to the Gambia. It's lack of monitoring. The government should engage in monitoring to ensure that at each given time, they will be monitoring the retailers, they'll be monitoring the importers to ensure that the prices are stabilized. But you cannot just allow people to bring things and then sell them anyhow by calling it a liberalized economy. That will not help us in any way. Honorable Speaker, the minister should help us to clarify which funds are being used to construct other roads. There are many roads that are being constructed, but are not mentioned in the Sona. And when I look also in the budget, I have not seen them there. Because there is a road in my constituency which is not seen in the budget, it's also not seen, said in the Sona. That is from Sutukoba to Welingara, then to Ton again, and come all the way to Chamoy. So where are those funds coming from? Are they coming from Africa 50 agreement, or are they coming from grants, or where are they coming from? We need to know that. Honorable Speaker, the President also talked about EPC. EPC, that is what they call ton something, I forgot the name. But anyway, EPC is engineering, procurement, etc. So that EPC, I want to know, because if what I know about EPC, if that is the case, it means that you give many contracts to one contractor. And from our experience here in the House, if we give many contracts to one contractor, the contractor may fail you. That's what happened to us with the ecologists. And therefore, we should be careful not to dump all these contracts to one contractor, and then the person may not, or the contractor may not complete the contract on time, and then there'll be a lot of delay. We learned from Hakalang, how long has Hakalang taken? It's taking years. You know, if all the roads are taking years and years, then that is not the good thing for us. So, Honorable Speaker, I want to also quickly say that in Nigeria, you have Dangote refinery, which is taking place there. There is a way of contacting, at least negotiating with Nigeria to be able to get our fuel. Because now they have almost the biggest refinery in the world. That's what they are building. So before we are late, we should be able to get there. They are producing 650,000 barrels a day in the refinery. And therefore, if we are able to negotiate, because it's a close neighbor, no matter what crises are in other parts of the world, it may not impact on us when it comes to that. Yes, Honorable Speaker, I want to finally say also that, yes, quickly, yes. Thank you. The SOEs, Honorable Speaker, SOEs, they are a popular thing. The President talked about it. And I believe that what we need to do with the SOEs is to create a unit at the Ministry of Finance, a unit which will be specifically there to monitor the operations of the SOEs, to ensure that they pay dividend, not only to pay dividend, but they also carry out their core mandate, to ensure that they carry out their core mandate at the same time pay dividend to government. I said it here, that if the SOEs really pay dividend to government in the way they should pay, our budget will boost, and then we'll be able to carry out so many projects. We should know that it is the government's responsibility to produce wealth and to be able to make people's lives better. If they cannot give jobs to people, they cannot take care of the disabled, they cannot take care of this, we will blame them. The government, this time, we want change. We don't want just cosmetic change. We built road here, we built this house there, you are giving $500 billion from 2017 to date. 500 billion. and you are saying, I built this road here, you are counting your fingers. That is not progress. We should look for progress to ensure that our country, we don't play with our people. Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, for your time.
Thank you, Honorable Member for Woolly East. Thank you, honorable members. Honorable members, may I now invite His Excellency the Vice President to respond to some of the issues raised and wind up the debate. Your Excellency.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Let me start by thanking all the honorable members here present for their contributions in the debate. We also recognize that a lot of the contributions were actually supporting the Sona, the initiatives of the President and the development that is taking place rapidly in this country. Although the honorable member for Woolly East was questioning whether, for him, he said he didn't hear anybody saying whether roads were good or bad. But in actual fact, there were some members that said roads were not. but I think, in fact, I've even suggested to the Honorable Minister of Finance, I think in this country we need to do actual economic analysis of the impact of roads. Not just roads, but electricity. I think electricity has the greatest impact as far as economic development in this country is concerned. All the new communities that have electricity, let's start counting. How many electrical workshops do they have? Metal workshop. How many carpentry workshops do they have? I think these are signs that there's a lot of economic going on, and I think that's the purpose of government, is to provide the infrastructure, and the people will be will come up with their initiative. And I think this is the greatest impact that we have. Honorable Speaker, allow me to just maybe try to provide some responses to some of the issues that have been raised. I know that a lot of the discussion was on the economic performance. We will not agree with some of the figures. I know there were some questions raised about poverty reduction, again, because I think so far, I know that another member for Banjul Central talked about a survey report, but I don't know which report was mentioned, so I cannot comment on that. But the problem is a lot of the survey report that we rely on from GBOS are actually old. And I know that the DHS, the last DHS that was conducted was like in 2019. They are right now in the process of doing another DHS. Unless that is done, we cannot be able to have some of these figures that are being. Sorry? Again, like I said, I'm not aware. I know that it may be draft because, again, I chair the Population Commission, and these are some of the things that I actually demand from them, and I'm still not getting them. Again, as part of the Population Secretariat, as we speak, they are also trying to work with them to get, maybe it's another survey that was commissioned by an agency or not. But as far as the DHS or the mix, I think they are yet to do a recent one. I think a lot of mention also made about the remittances. Yes, we take this opportunity again and join His Excellency the President in thanking the diaspora for the remittances that are coming. But as members have mentioned, most of the remittances are actually coming for household consumption. But as we speak, the government is working with GK partners and other partners to try to see how we can help work with the diaspora so that most of those remittances can come as part of investment, like diaspora bond, for example. This discussion is far advanced, hopefully in the near future. And I think they're also working with the central bank and other partners to transform some of these things that are coming as part of investment. Honorable Speaker, a lot of discussion also mentioned about the SOEs. The report mentioned the losses that we are experiencing from the SOEs and now the profit that is being made, which is a turnaround of like 5.1 billion. And I think as the honorable member for Woolly East has mentioned and other members, the member for Birkama South, I think mentioned that in detail as far as SOEs are concerned. Honorable Speaker, you realize that a lot of the SOEs were actually running a lot of liabilities. In fact, some SOEs, at some point, they couldn't even pay salaries. Government has to now come in and bail them out in paying salaries. With the SOEs Commission, and also for the influence of the member for Woolly East, there is actually a secretariat that is responsible, that is supporting the SOE Commission to monitor these SOEs. In fact, as we speak, this 2026, because of the turnaround, we are expecting at least 5 SOEs to actually pay dividend to government. Although we have some teething challenges, but we really feel that we are actually on the right track. Instead of now spending on those SOEs, we are expecting some dividend. Even some of the SOEs that we are actually not performing very well. The Gamtel-Gamcell issue. It's a PPP. Government is not selling. Government is still a partner, and government actually has the controlling share. So it's not like we are going to lose it. I think for the benefit of members, particular member for Fonyi Kansala. I don't want to question your figures, but the person that says that they have received just 80,000, I think that raises eyebrows, because I know that the information we have is, in fact, there are some that have got actually close to $1 million in terms of compensation. But the main point here is that it's like voluntarily, like I don't question your figures, but we'll still, voluntary.
Please, honorable member for Councillor,
because the basic,
no, put down your tag.
The basic fact,
allow him to learn, please.
The basic fact we have is that, and I think this is what honorable members will need to understand. For some of the private GSMs, their average staff level was about 300 staff. But for Gamcell, it was more than 1,000 staff. That's really an overstaffing. It's a huge body, but like you downsize and make sure that the rest that are remaining there are actually handsomely paid, so that you can retain those staff. And I think this is what is happening. Even though you reduce, there are some specific areas where we need to recruit for specific capacities. The honorable member mentioned the issue of social security. I think if that is the case, that's a serious thing, because contribution to social security is a legal aspect. Even though if they have left, we will try to make sure that they get whatever is due to them, because that's the responsibility of the corporation. Honorable Speaker, I think some members, I can recall, who talked about the issue of the specific economic zone. The honorable member for Jara West confirmed that yes, actually land is available, that it has been identified in Jara West. But Honorable Speaker, one of the challenges we have is that the moment government identifies a particular area for development, then the land speculators come in. Initially, government had agreed with the landowners. All of a sudden, you now have some people who could now come and complain, ask for more money. I think this is one of the challenges we have. But the good thing is that there are investors who are interested. Recently, in fact, we are even talking to the World Bank who are interested. I'm just returning from Yaoundé, and I had the opportunity of discussing with the president of the Afri-Exim Bank, who is also interested in this type of interventions. Honorable Speaker, I think some people also mentioned about the aviation and the domestication of Banjul Dakar, which actually I'm glad to inform that is far advanced. And I want to believe, again, it's either started or is about to start. The idea of of the domestication is that because between Banjul and Dakar, the taxes are so high that with this domestication, both countries have agreed to reduce the taxes, and I think the fare now is somewhere less than 1,000. I think 1,000. Sorry, not 1,000. About $100. About $100 to $150 now would be the average price of the air ticket between Banjul and Dakar, which used to go up to like $400. Honorable Speaker, I think I don't need to belabor the point on the infrastructure, the roads that are going to be constructed. Yes, I know the member for Birkama North is inquiring whether some of the roads are. What I can say is that because currently, as I mentioned, there are these 200 kilometers of roads which have access to farms. These 700 kilometers actually is nationwide, and I can assure you that your constituency will be involved. I don't think there is going to be any constituency that will be left out, because here, as the President has said, we want to move away from loans. We want to rely on ourselves. All right, that is why we are looking at ways of non-tax revenue without, adding any tax burden on households. And we believe that this is going to be possible. Even after that, Cabinet has also discussed and approved another set of roads where it's going to be like a pre-financing, and the demand is actually very, very high. There are a lot of companies who want to now come in and involve with pre-financing arrangements. The EPC is engineering, procurement, and construction. It's not that you are giving them a lot of contracts at the same time. No, it's like for one contract, they do the engineering, they do the procurement, and they do the construction. That is why, because most of the time, government does not have the money ready at that particular point to do the design and all that. That takes a lot of time. But that notwithstanding, government will always be there to have either a private company or Ministry of Works, NRA, to do the consultancy service for those works. Honorable Speaker, I think a lot of points were made in terms of rice self-sufficiency. I agree with the honorable members. Yes, the aim of this government is to make sure that, yes, we don't want to import rice. Right now, we want to reduce the cost of rice, but at the end of the day, we want to make sure that we grow rice sufficient enough. Thereby, we have our own brands. Currently, as we speak, we have some of our local brands. They may not be sufficient. I don't want to mention names, otherwise it may sound as publicity. But at least I think that there are at least about 3 or more local brands that are already existing in this country, and government is committed to continue to support them in that endeavor. The member, I think, from Fonyi Bondali talked about the seeds. I think the amount that is mentioned in the Sona is actually that is supporting the seed secretariat to actually produce local varieties that can be, distributed within the country. You realize that some of the seed varieties we have are actually low in nutrition component. That is why you have to engage more in terms of research for more better varieties that can be distributed within the country, and the resilient also. The other challenge we have, and I'm sure you know, those members in Lower Salom, Upper Salom, and Nyanija will know that the salt water is also intruding and affecting our rice growing areas. But we are also discussing with partners. Even when I was in Japan, I had discussed that with some of the partners to see how they can support in solving that. The soil intrusion. The tractors you mentioned, I'm sure you realize that, yes, there are various tractors that are coming in, but it's like it's giving to master farmers. where they have to pay 25%, government pays the other 25%, and the 50% is actually rolled out over a period. So yeah, so there has to be the capacity to do the down payment of the 25% before government comes in. I know the demand is also high. The first lot has already been distributed. I don't know the distribution. Maybe we can ask further details with the Minister of Agriculture. In terms of human capital, I think a lot of issues have been raised. Just to confirm that, yes, the 17.7% may be low. As the Honorable Member for Banyu North mentioned, the Maputo Protocol talks about 15% for health, and the Global Partnership for Education talks about 20% for education. But you realize that we are talking about the same cake. If you want to increase the share of one sector, that means you have to reduce the share of another sector. I think the challenge now is let's make sure that we increase the base of our revenue so that whatever share you have is able to fulfill your needs. Yeah, agriculture is 10%. And the security will also want more. Exactly. So these are the challenges. It doesn't mean that we are reducing the importance of those sectors. Yes, some issue of teacher training was raised, the training for health personnel. Just to inform the honorable member for Center Badibu that definitely government is actually increasing the training of specialists. Even the Sona has mentioned it. Some of the specialists for these hospitals, because we are expanding very fast. It takes time for the training to also catch up. And some of the challenges you have is as you train, there is attrition. It will take time before you stabilize. Another point is not just the training, but the deployment. A lot of the doctors that are trained are actually in the urban areas. So it will take time for them to move in the rural areas. We are having discussions with Ministry of Health so that they can learn from the example in education to provide some extra allowances to entice doctors to move in the other areas. I remember my last visit to Kuntaur. That's one of the challenges we have, because the doctors are not staying in Kuntaur. They are staying in Bansang. I said to them, but look at the upper basic school in Kuntaur. They are able to attract the graduate teachers there because of extra allowances. If you do similar thing, then the doctors will probably stay in Kuntaur. Yeah, the hardship allowance, that's right. Because I know some members feel that teachers are not having much, but I can assure you that some teachers may actually earn more than some of your National Assembly members. At the end of the day, they may not. They will. Anyway, we are all teachers. Sometimes we can behave that we are poor, but what we take home is more than what you take home. If you ask them, they will not tell you. But we know them. We know each other. Honorable Speaker, the issue of medicine and drugs, I think, has been raised. Honorable Speaker, yes, one of the challenges we have is, so Honorable Members will recall, since the issue of the ACI, it has made drug procurement very difficult. After the ACI report, now Medicine Control Agency, actually, a lot of drugs that are imported are quarantined unless they are tested. This is the challenge we have. And we don't have the labs until this new lab is inaugurated at Brusubi. All the drugs that come in have to be quarantined until you send them to maybe Dakar, Ghana, or other places before they can be cleared. This is a challenge we have. It affects not only the private pharmacies, but even government. And the development, the embassies are also complaining, but government is trying to work with the MCA to see how we can address that. But hopefully, when this lab is ready, that will alleviate that problem completely. Honorable Speaker, Excellency for Councillor has mentioned a lot of bills, immigration, and others. Some of those bills actually have been coming in and out of cabinet because of other reasons. But just to inform you that I think some bills have already been cleared. As you say, maybe it's with justice. The youth bill has also been cleared by cabinet. The youth and sport bill has been cleared by cabinet. Maybe it's at the level of the Minister of Justice. I'm not sure, but again, we'll take it up. We'll take it up with the minister. Sometimes we don't want the same thing that happened with the National Security Bill. We pass it and then come back only to realize that there are some things that we need to change. Because sometimes the bills stay in the ministry for a very long time, and sometimes you lose track of some of the issues only to look at it again and realize that probably if you pass it at that level, it's going to bring problems for government. These are the reasons why it keeps going back and forth as far as cabinet is concerned. Sometimes cabinet actually allocates 3 days just to look at those bills, particularly the immigration bill. It has come more than twice to cabinet. We spend a long time just looking at it. For the information of the minority leader and member for Birkama North, the paramount chief has been appointed. The TACOS is not dead. The TACOS is actually implemented in phases. And the phase approach is actually going to end in 2027. Hopefully by the 2027 budget, the TACOS will be fully implemented. Honorable Speaker, I hope I have not missed out. I know that a lot of issues were raised, so I want to thank the members for their contribution.
Excellency, in fact, I was going to tell you to round up. Thank you very much. You can have your seat. Thank you very much. Honorable members, let me put the question. Be resolved that this August Assembly do adopt the motion on the State of the Nation address in the 2026 legislative year by His Excellency the President of the Republic. Those in favor, please say aye. Those not in favor, please say no. The ayes have it. Honorable members, let me thank you all. But before I thank you, let me, on your behalf, on behalf of both sides of the Assembly, extend our sincere gratitude and appreciation to His Excellency the Vice President. He has been here since morning with us, and the Honorable Minister for Tourism and Culture. Parliament, both sides of Parliament are very much appreciative. This is indicative of the type of person you are. Honestly. Yeah. So humble, so caring. We recognize it and we applaud you for that. And the Honorable Minister for Tourism, same. Honorable members, some of those who spoke here are no longer in the hall. They only come, talk, and go. You listen to them, but they don't listen to others. I hope next time we are taking note. We are taking note of some of those discrepancies, but we encourage others. If you want to go, don't talk. If you talk that people listen to you, you must sit down to listen to others. I think that's the best thing for it. But it has been a wonderful day, honorable members. We have done very well. We had about 30-something people who spoke, and we are able to contain all, and then we are able to do it wonderfully. I thank you. I thank you all. I now put the question. Be resolved that this Honorable Assembly do stand adjourned until Wednesday, 1st April 2026. Those in favor, please say aye. Those not in favor, please say no. The ayes have it. This Assembly now stands adjourned until Wednesday, 1st April 2026 at 10 a.m. prompt.